Yeah, there's a lot I like about this team, and I mean, this might be like we're not sleeping on the Cardinals. Like I think this is the team.
I mean, I think we're in agreement. We are not sleep like the one team we are not sleeping on in the NFL this year is the Arizona Cardinals.
Which sounds crazy to say because 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I mean, Kyler was an MVP favorite.
Yeah.
And that kind of just more proves our point that it's like, yeah, they've had a rough go at it here lately, but I mean, Kyler's still Kyler, and then everything you just said about Jonathan Gannon. I mean, everybody knows the sound bites and the clips of him being ridiculous, but I mean, this team is.
Hey, it doesn't work unless it works.
Yeah,
Jonathan Gannon, he showed pretty convincingly last year that these guys bought in.
You have fire in your gut? Okay, we're here for a reason to win games. So if you didn't have that fire in your gut, you better light the fire pretty fast.
To the
Arizona Cardinals. And first
Arizona
and foremost,
Cardinals.
Want to apologize to Arizona Cardinals fans. We wanted a guest for this week. We're not able to find an Arizona guest, so we apologize for that. So, but we loved having.
I'm very concerned for Cardinals fans that you guys do not have enough of a sports blog presence because I can only find a handful of people, and they were all busy.
Let us save the day here for you.
Yeah, we were very excited to talk it. We are very excited to talk Arizona Cardinals football because there is stuff to be excited about.
Yeah, we like this team. We like Kyler. I think I like Kyler.
I think I like Kyler.
I was really hot on Kyler a couple of years ago, but I still like Kyler a lot.
Can I tell you what was weird about watching some of Kyler's tape?
Yeah,
Kyler has never since he got to A&M been in an offense that he wasn't familiar with, right? And you could kind of see it in some of his tape last year that he was in a new offense, that he wasn't just like, he was hesitant with stuff. He was a little gun shy here and there to pull the trigger because he wasn't as sure about it, which was just interesting. I think it goes away with reps. I don't think there's any reason to be concerned about it, but it was a little different than what I was used to seeing from him. It was just kind of like that pause in moments of like having to think about it.
Yeah, Kyler's supremely talented. I mean, he showed it time and time again. The questions, I guess, come more off the field and his commitment and dedication to the game, which I think are a little overblown at times. But you look at the way they're building this team. I really like their head coach a lot. And then go out and draft a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., who is incredible. I think the distance between Marvin Harrison Jr. and like the next best like wide receiver prospect we've seen, or not even in this draft, just in recent history, is pretty big. I mean, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is one of the best wide receivers we've seen come out since Megatron, as far as expectations coming into the league.
Yeah, it's probably up there. Like I think he is. I didn't think he was that far ahead of Odunze or Neighbors from a potential standpoint, but from a what I know they are standpoint, he's head and shoulders ahead of them.
And he's looked incredible so far, obviously. I mean, it'd be hard not to this early on in the process. I mean, he looks like how he should look, which is always promising. What did Kevin White look like when he got to Chicago? A lot of hype there.
I don't know. He had a broken shin. And then
he never. Yeah,
there was never any hype. It was just like, oh well, this sucks.
He could still be an All-Pro one day.
Hey, his brother plays for the Cardinals.
Which one?
Kaiser White, the linebacker.
Kaiser White is Kevin's brother.
Yeah.
Oh,
little bro.
A lot better than big bro.
Yeah, he's making a lot more money.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like this receiver room. I like them bringing in Jonah Williams. Paris Johnson that they signed or that they drafted last year. I think they're building this team well. Kyler is paid, so James Conner just somehow keeps looking good. Every time you think James Conner is not good, he just keeps being good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Trey Benson coming out was that 4th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him a lot. So I mean, I really, really like what this offense is doing. And I think Jonathan Gannon's gonna have this defense rolling.
Gannon might be one of the most creative defensive coordinators in the NFL, or defensive play callers, I guess, or defensive coaches. Some of the stuff he was doing last year was really interesting, really cool. Like, he was working with nothing. Don't get me wrong, this defense was bottom of the NFL in just about everything, but he was getting more out of the talent than he had.
Yeah.
Like, and now they've gotten a little bit better. Not a ton better on defense, but better.
I think Bilal Nichols helps him out in the interior.
And Justin Jones. I mean,
and Murphy Bunting.
Neither Nichols or Jones are starting caliber players in the NFL, but like, they're still better than what they had last year, which says something.
Yeah, and I think Bunting coming over is going to help him out a lot. Yeah, there's a lot I like about this team, and I mean, this might be like, we're not sleeping on the Cardinals. Like, I think this is the team.
I mean, I think we're in agreement. We are not like, the one team we are not sleeping on in the NFL this year is the Arizona Cardinals.
Which sounds crazy to say because 4 years ago, I mean, Kyler was an MVP favorite.
Yeah.
And that kind of just more proves our point that it's like, yeah, they've had a rough go at it here lately, but I mean, Kyler's still Kyler. And then everything you just said about Jonathan Gannon, I mean, everybody knows the sound bites and the clips of him being ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this team is,
hey, it doesn't work unless it works.
Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon, he showed pretty convincingly last year that these guys bought in.
Yeah, and yeah, everybody in Philly that talks about him too talks about how great he was and how much they liked him. So,
and I mean, Drew Petzing at OC was really creative and really found ways to get guys producing to work toward guys' strengths, which was really impressive.
Yeah, and they got the steal of the draft from Taylor Demerson at 104.
Yeah, Rabbit.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I really like him for the scheme and for what they want to do. He's a guy who can play true center field and play a bunch of different roles at the same time. Like, I'm not sure how they're going to deploy him with Jalen Thompson, Budda Baker, their safe room probably being one of the biggest strengths on this team. But like, they're gonna find ways to get him on the field.
And if he gets on the field and he plays at a high level, the dude has crazy potential.
Yeah. Now let's get to some positions. Like, I mean, James Conner, I was impressed by his tape from last year.
I'm always impressed by him, but every time I watch him, I just don't understand how, and he just keeps doing it.
He gets bigger every year, I swear. Yeah. Like, he just keeps getting bigger.
Michael Carter, I mean, I thought this guy was going to be a top back in the league when he was on the Jets.
He showed some nice stuff for them last year. I'm not sure where he's going to rank on this depth chart, but he was fun.
I just feel like he hasn't really had a chance to establish himself anywhere. But I mean, I don't. You talk about potential. He's in his fourth, fifth year now, so it's like,
yeah.
But
he averaged 6 yards a carry last year.
Yeah,
like, really limited carries. But
it's one of those things where it's like every time he I just keep thinking he's gonna be able to bust out. But yeah, I mean, DJ Dallas, Tony Jones, Trey Benson, another Florida State guy. I was real high on a lot of Florida State guys coming out of this draft. But yeah, if James Conner can just keep doing what he's doing with Trey Benson, giving him a little bit of relief there, then they really only need DeMarcado or a Carter, Jones, DJ Dallas, one of these other guys, just to kind of spell in for a little bit. But I think it's really going to be Conner and Benson more than anybody.
Yeah, and I mean, at receiver, getting MHJ is so huge. And Michael Carter showed you some good stuff last year. Michael Wilson.
Yeah, and now that he's a true two. And then Greg Dortch.
Now, to me, the big question with Wilson will be, we're talking about a guy who never stayed healthy one season in college. Can he stay healthy for 2 seasons in the NFL?
Yeah, sometimes it's just different.
It might be just different. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And then Greg Dortch, man. Everyone loves Greg Dortch.
Torture chamber.
Wait, what?
The torture chamber.
Yeah, the torture chamber. I got you now. It took me a second. I was like, the what?
Yeah.
Everyone loves Greg Dortch. I mean, I'm not even sure how limited he is into like a gadget role, but he's such a fun player. Like his numbers are just like, everyone loves his numbers. Everyone speaks so highly of him. I'm not sure he'll ever live up to how highly people speak of him, but I think he's a really good football player to have on your roster.
Can you really live up to a name like Greg Dortch?
I don't think you can.
Yeah, that's just oversight by his parents. But then we look at this tight end room, Trey McBride. He's basically like a Tyler Higbee. Like,
no, he's much better.
I think he's much better.
Yeah, he's different.
He's solid.
Tyler Higbee's more your two-way like blocker and receiver, like doing both. But Trey McBride is a much better receiver than Tyler Higbee.
What do you like? What do you think about Tip Raymond out of Illinois? Big
He's
10 tight
fun.
end. Yeah.
You mean the former walk-on at Illinois?
Oh, walk on at Illinois.
Who had like a
9.9
9.9 relative athletic score.
Hey,
He's a freak, man.
He'll fit right in.
He's limited. Like he's a blocker first. He doesn't have to be physically, just like experience-wise. He probably needs to be to grow into more of a receiving role. But he's an animal. Like, he will kill you.
Yeah.
And I like Elijah Higgins, too. A converted wide receiver, I believe. But I think Higgins can offer you value, too. Like, for this wide receiver room is lacking in depth, for sure. But I think this tight end room can bring that up a little bit, especially once you think about how much Petzing has schemed stuff up in the run game and how they can play off that, kind of the way Ben Johnson does stuff in Detroit. I think there's opportunity there for this offense.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot to like about this offense. Like this team a lot. Then going to the defense side of the ball or offensive line. Paris Johnson, we both loved him last year coming out of the draft.
Well,
played pretty well as a rookie.
That the last few weeks of the season, he was looking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the running lanes he was opening up as a puller, as a mover, was really impressive. His ability in space. I thought his bend as an offensive lineman and his ability to adjust his body positioning in space was so impressive, and it showed up at the NFL level. Like, I think dude's gonna be a stud for years to come. And then Jonah Williams is supposed to start on the right side. I think that's an improvement. I mean, so Paris Johnson moving over to the left side. I believe it was it Kelvin Beachum they had at left tackle? I forget who it was they had last year at left tackle, but you have Jonah Williams on the right side this time, which I think is an upgrade for the overall offensive line. I think Williams is fine. I think he's an NFL starter. I'm not sure he's a good starter, but he's an upgrade over what they had out there last year. At guard, you got Will Hernandez out there, who's really kind of revived his career the last few years. Really started to show some of the promise that made him a second-round pick out of, I think it was UTEP. But big, powerful blocker. He's cleaned up some of the pass blocking. His run blocking is still a little suspect, but like, he's powerful. He's a power blocker. He's gonna miss guys sometimes, but when he gets his hands on you, he's free and open a lane big time. And then at center, it's one of the weaker spots for them, I think. Jalt Froholt, not quite up to par. Like, his stats are, but his tape, I thought he was pretty susceptible at times to getting beat, especially to power, which you can say about a lot of centers in the league, but I felt like his was a little more than you'd want to see. And then also starting at guard is Isaiah Adams. I believe Isaiah Adams is slated to start, rookie out of Illinois, 3rd-round pick. Guy who I liked in the draft. I think I had a 4th-round grade on him, but I think he played right tackle last year at Illinois out of necessity. He doesn't have the foot speed to play tackle. He got beat a lot at tackle and pushed him down the draft board. I think if he stayed at guard, he might have been drafted a little higher last year. That's projection. That's if, maybes, buts, but yeah, that's what I saw on tape. I thought he projects really well to guard, and he should have been playing guard last year, but the team needed him at tackle. So he played tackle and got beat. Now, the depth here, they got a lot of names. It's okay. I mean, they have some NFL names here, but I don't feel great about their depth. I just think the scheme is going to find ways to get it done. Like, I believe in what Drew Petzing is doing there to make it work. And I think that there is enough talent here to make the offensive line work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and then you talked about Will Hernandez for a second. Yeah, I think he's coming on strong. Well, I know you said that. Not great. Was he a UTSA?
Was it UTSA or UTEP? It was one of the two.
One of the two for sure. Definitely one of the Texas schools. But yeah, definitely. I thought he looked a lot better last year than he looked early on in his career.
Yeah, no, he definitely did. He's really kind of turned around since getting out of New York. Then on the defensive side, I mean, this is the black eye on the roster. That D tackle room. Like, I like Dante Stills in the draft last year. I think Dante Stills did some nice stuff for them, but I think he's a rotational player at best. I think Bilal Nichols is a rotational player. I think Justin Jones is a rotational player. So your 3 starting defensive tackles are all rotational guys.
Yeah,
that's weak. You know that you're going to have a hard time with that. You're going to have a bad time. Like that's the way I feel about this D tackle.
That interior of the Rams offensive line that we just talked about too.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to mess a lot with that interior. Like, I don't think they're gonna be able to stuff the run up too much with it. I mean, even Roy Lopez and Kyrus Tonga, big, thick defensive tackles, but like they're not. There's a reason they've bounced around. You know, they're not the most reliable football players. They're not the most talented. I think they can offer you some run stuffing, but I don't know, Tonga truly he's probably more of a pass rushing nose tackle than which is not really what you're looking for in a nose tackle, but it has some use. And I think Gannon's going to find ways to scheme this defense up, but the way that it's schemed up is going to be to protect the defensive tackle room, not the other way. The defensive tackle room isn't protecting anything on this roster.
Yeah, not a whole lot to like about this interior D line, but looking on their edge, I mean, I don't hate their edge room.
I don't. I mean, I think Collins has some upside. David Collins, converted linebacker. I think he has the athleticism to pull off that switch, and I think he did some nice stuff last year. I think Dennis Gardick is just like a caveman who goes out there and bashes heads. Like,
what do you think? What do you think about Darius Robinson?
I think Darius Robinson is a defensive tackle,
so that could be good.
That could help them. Actually, I forgot about while I was talking defensive tackle, but I think Darius Robinson, he's the type of versatile defender who Gannon can really utilize. I'm not sure his role will be. It'll be like a 4-tech, 5-tech role,
like a Brendan Graham,
kind of.
Philly.
Yeah, kind of, somewhat like that's like a 5-tech. So like I'm thinking like anywhere from a 3 to a 5 makes sense for Darius Robinson. Because I think he has some unique traits, like more of a 3-4 end than anything, is kind of where my head's at for him. But he's just a unique player. Like, he does not look like he's 300 pounds, but he is. And he can't bend the way you want out of an edge rusher, especially in a more versatile front where you want the guys to really get wide on their edge rush, which makes me think he's handed the dirt more often than not.
And this is just a little off topic, but coming out of Mizzou, if you're a betting man, get on Mizzou now because they might win the SEC.
I love Mizzou, man. I love Mizzou this year. BJ Ojulari is like the polar opposite of Darius Robinson, white, bendy edge rusher who can play a little coverage, and Ojulari he's a buy-in guy. He's a locker room guy. He's a guy who he wore number 14 at LSU. That's like the historic number. Like the captain.
The 7's the number.
Seven.
The number at LSU.
Okay, then he wore 7.
That's like the Honey Badger and Claiborne to basically every big time player.
Yeah, so Ojulari wore 7 at LSU. That tells you a lot about who he is and what he means as far as a locker room guy. And I do think they have some pieces in this edge room that they can make really interesting, and that they used well last year. Like I can't wait to watch what Kansas going to do with this defense, man. Like
Yeah.
I don't think they're extremely talented, but I think they're going to be extremely creative.
Don't sleep on them.
Help cover the talent gap.
Don't sleep on them Cards, baby.
Don't sleep on the Cardinals.
Dirty Birds.
Linebacker Chris Barnes flashed some on tape, especially with some big run stuffs. I'm not sure how consistent he is with it, but like he's explosive. And Kaiser White is like the definition of fine at linebacker across the league. Just like, who's available? Oh, Kaiser White, we'll get him. Yeah, that'll be fine. Like that's kind of how it feels every time I see him every year. And then Mac Wilson, been a solid coverage linebacker in this league for years. He'll probably play some Sam linebacker role for them. And Owen,
is his name Mac or McCorkle?
Mac.
It is Mac. He's not a McCorkle. Is that confirmed?
I mean, he's McCorkle Senior if he's McCorkle. He's McCorkle Jr.
Mac Jones' daddy.
Owen Papo, super interesting player coming out of Auburn. Super athletic, super like versatile, freaky, weird player. Doesn't really have a position. Doesn't really have great football instincts, but like if there's one defense that's going to use him in an interesting way, it's probably Jonathan Gannon's defense. So like it's just they have all these weird gadget guys for a defensive coordinator who loves to get weird and gadgety, and that just feels fun. Then at corner, there's another kind of black eye on it, but they've got some young talent here.
I think Sean Murphy Bunting is one of the most underrated guys in the last 3 or 4 years at corner. So I feel like that's a pretty good signing for him. I guess he's gonna probably be in the spotlight more on a defense like this as being one of the better guys on the defense. But still, I thought that was a really, really good signing for him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he's a strong nickel corner in the league, and like it'll be interesting to see how they deploy their nickel defense and their dime defense. Like, 'cause they're gonna get weird with it, and I just don't know exactly what role they're gonna play him in, but I'm sure it's gonna be fun.
Another strange thing about this rookie class that they brought in, they have 8 picks and they didn't have a 5th round pick.
Something like that.
All their picks were, I think, in the top 120.
Yeah. All but one of their picks were in the top 104.
Yeah. So you got,
but two outside of it.
Let's just say you hit at a decent rate. Like, this could be a great rookie class for the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, I mean, I liked Garrett Williams out of Syracuse last year, and I love Max Melton this year. Max Melton was probably one of my bigger, my guys in the draft, because the dude is just an absolute dog. He's going to get in your face. He's going to ruffle your feathers. He had no fear taking on Marvin Harrison Jr. against Ohio State, and he plays for Rutgers.
And now
I love Max
every day.
Yeah.
And then you look at the safety room, Budda Baker's. Budda Baker's still good. I just see the name Budda Baker, and I'm like, oh, dude's a dog.
He's fun. He's not a great coverage player. He's good enough in coverage, but he's the mold of safety who's better moving forwards than backwards. So he just stays moving forwards at all times. He's just an energizer buddy. But
as much as we've talked about Jonathan Gannon, with Darian Taylor Damerson coming out of Texas Tech, if you're not familiar with this guy, he's just a freak. And if anybody can figure this man out, it's Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's also got that energizer bunny energy of he's always moving. But in the opposite, where I think he plays fairly well enough moving backwards, and there's enough on his tape to think he's going to get better at it. But also he can play a nickel role, and that's why I was more hesitant on Sean Murphy Bunting, because I wonder where they're going to put Taylor Demerson in this. I wonder how much they're going to get him involved in the nickel spot as well.
Put him at edge. Let him rush the passer.
Yeah, he can do it all. And Jalen Thompson has been a solid safety for the Cardinals for a few years now. there's more here this year, and I really think this coaching staff is going to get a lot out of these guys.
And like I said, especially like looking at this rookie class, I mean, they're bringing in so much young talent, so much young talent that I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this team shocks people.
Young talent that's buying in. That is a dangerous combination. It's what we see in Detroit the last 2 years. Young talent that's buying in.
With a quarterback that at one point in time was considered a top end quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, it's still Kyler Murray. Like I feel like he gets more disrespect than anybody on this roster.
Yeah.
From like the outside.
Either him or James Conner.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what their schedule looks like here. Cliff Kingsbury revenge game in week 4.
Yeah, we both like the Cardinals in that. So
Dude,
I have the Cardinals starting out 0-3. You have them starting out 1-3. We have them losing to the 49ers.
2-3, 2-4.
Oh yeah, 2-2. Yeah, so I have them starting out 0-3. No, you have them starting 1-3. Or 1-2, I mean 1-2. Yeah. That's what threw me off. Okay. But then I have the Cardinals making a huge run starting week 6, going through week 12.
You have them winning in Miami?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That heat's not going to bother them. They're in the desert. I feel like that's Miami's biggest thing about home field is people coming in. The humidity might get to them.
Yeah,
but they're not gonna. The heat's not gonna be a huge factor,
I guess,
for them. And doesn't that just seem like a Miami game to lose?
It does.
Like
overlooked.
Yeah, and then we had the Vikings still in one late in the season, but yeah, I mean we both like this team a lot. We had 49ers sweeping, which if they win one, they might get week 18, depending on what's going on there.
Dude, I have the Cardinals doing so well at home.
Yeah.
Let me see. I want to see what actual record I have for them at home.
I have them, losing the Patriots at
6-3.
Yeah.
That's just, I had to give the Patriots some wins.
Yeah.
So overall, you've got them at 10-7. I've got them at, or wait, no, I'm sorry, that's Rams. You've got them at 9-8. I've got them at 7-10. And actually, I want to give them another.
Give them the Patriots when the Patriots aren't beating them in Arizona that late in the season. Well, I don't know. That might make the Patriots negative wins.
Yeah, like they're gonna win some games.
Give them 49ers. Last game of the season.
Oh yeah. All right. So I've got them at 8-9.
9-8. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a team that's going to be right on the cusp of 10 wins with a lot to look forward to. And I mean, I think if this team wins 9 or 10 games, I mean, that is a huge success. You have so much faith in this offense and Jonathan Gannon and this defense moving forward that if you show that you can win 8 to 10 games in this division in a year like this, I mean, I think this is a team that's trending, that's on the rise, and yeah, we're definitely not sleeping on the Cardinals.
The Arizona Cardinals were 9-8 against the spread last year. At home, they were 5-3 against the spread.
Yeah, and they have the ability to keep up with anybody. So I mean, if this defense can get nasty, yeah, you're gonna really see some things out of this team, I think.
Yeah.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.